Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today with the Brooks Ghost 17. And I know a lot of people think they're too good for this shoe. A lot of people think they're above this shoe. Oh, I can never run in a Ghost again. Guess what? You're not too good for the Ghost 17. However, if you do want to try a different shoe and get a good deal on a different shoe, whether that's a daily trainer like the Ghost 17 or a Max Cushion Gang shoe or a Carbon County race shoe, make sure you're on the Supple app. Supple app is my app. It's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. We've got great inventory on race shoes, Max Cushion shoes. We also have the best deals because people post the shoes that they're not using and they give good deals to other hobby joggers. And we have a discount code to Running Warehouse that takes 20% off of apparel. I just placed an order the other day for a bunch of singlets. They should be getting in here this week because I'm trying to test more singlets this summer. So stay tuned for that. But I got 20% off of every singlet. So there's a lot of good reasons to be on the Supple app. We also have the community challenge going right now. It's $30 to sign up. You get a workout each week. You get access to the community included in that. You get a running shirt and you have the chance to win free prizes. I haven't been saying this enough, or I guess they're not free, but you have the chance to win prizes. I'm gonna start picking some people to win stuff based on the runs, and you can win at the end. So make sure you're signed up for the app and enjoy today's video. Bang! Brooks Ghost. That is what is in this box. And look at this. Did you know Total Pickleball, Running Warehouse, and Tennis Warehouse, it's all under the same brand. I don't play pickleball, and I definitely do not play tennis. But if I did, I might shop at those places. I don't even have an affiliate link for them, though, so it doesn't really matter to me if you shop there or not. I do have an affiliate link for Running Warehouse, so if you buy any shoes from Running Warehouse, and I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're probably not going to buy the Brooks Ghost, but if you do, make sure to use my link. Now, why am I saying you're probably not going to want to buy the Brooks Ghost? Because this thing right here, Ghost, this is Brooks' standard daily trainer, and there's a lot of good shoes on the market, but this is the mainstream daily shoe. This is the default shoe that a lot of people get if you walk into a running store. For a long time, this is the go-to shoe for people. This is the vanilla ice cream of running shoes, and it's so funny because Brooks Ghost, this is one of the most popular running shoes on the market. This might be the highest selling running shoe in the US. If it's not number one, it's in the top 5 for sure. It's this, Clifton, Glycerin, Bondi. This is right near the top of the list, but these videos always get the lowest number of views because people who are interested in the culture of shoes, hardcore shoe nerds, as my friend Jack Crago put on his story yesterday. It's funny because we got him, Dr. Lisa, and Midlife Runner to give us their favorite shoe picks, and we posted it on the Instagram, and so he reposted it on his story, and he said, hardcore shoe nerds, go follow Supple Running. And I was thinking about that, and I was saying, man, is that really all I am? Am I just for hardcore shoe nerds? I guess so. But the thing is, the shoe sickos have graduated. Many people feel, and not even the shoe sickos, even people who are buying their second shoe, their third shoe, training for a marathon, a lot of people feel that they're beyond what this type of shoe represents, especially with the scope of such great shoes on the market around a similar price point. So I understand why people don't watch these videos. I guess it's like if a wine review channel reviewed Sutter Home or a whiskey review channel did Jack Daniels. But the thing is, wouldn't you want to see what your reviewer said? A reviewer who's tried a bunch of things says about the basic one. That's why I'm always surprised that these videos don't do well. But I think people just want to see the hype stuff. But around this category in this segment, we have the Saucony Ride 18. This was a solid one. Another standard shoe like the Brooks Ghost at it's $140. You have this Power Run Plus foam in here, which is very durable. The ride was pretty, I don't want to use the B word, but I think that's the best word to describe it, boring. There was nothing special about this shoe. It was just fine. And this is the thing, with so many good shoes being in the 140 to 150 price point, you don't have to settle for boring if you don't want to. That's the entire point of this channel. I want to steer people into the direction of shoes that are going to improve their running. So a shoe like the Saucony Ride, this is great if you want something to walk in, if you want something for shorter runs, but if you want any sort of excitement or other capability than just a durable shoe, I wouldn't get the Ride 18. Another one that competes directly with the Brooks Ghost is this guy here. This is actually now on the Supwell Daily Trainer Power Rankings. This is a really solid shoe. It's the New Balance 880 V15. It's more cushion than the last generation, which is a trend here. The Ghost also is more cushion in the 17, but this has a slightly firmer foam, very comfort-oriented upper, lots of good room in the toe box. Overall, very solid shoe. This is the one I would pick for if you just want that standard basic shoe that's going to give you good capability for running and walking. It's really a great shoe. Now, if you want something more exciting, we have Nova Blast 5. This is up there. This is probably number one in the $140 daily trainer category. You have bouncy FF Blast Max foam, nice lightweight, really fun shoe. It's great for running faster. Some people have said it's too soft though, so I can understand why you might want to go for the Ride 18 or 880 V15 instead. But this is a great shoe for anyone training for a half marathon or marathon who wants some more speed assistance for their daily runs. Now, outside of the direct competitive category here, we have the Glycerin 21. This is not the most recent shoe, but this actually now has the same foam. It did in the last generation too, but same foam as the Ghost 17 and very similar stack. So if you like what the Glycerin did, or if you like the Ghost, you might be able to pick up an older pair of this Glycerin, the Glycerin 21, because the 22 came out on discount. And then another shoe, last shoe I wanted to bring out to compare today is the Nike Vomero 18. This thing is $150, and that's the surprising thing about the Ghost. Shoeflation, this latest version of the Brooks Ghost, went up well, it did go up in stack height, but went up in price as well. It's now $150. It's always been $140, and these three shoes here, which would be the core competitive set, plus the, what else? The Gel Cumulus, the Pegasus, the Clifton. A lot of these shoes are $140. Clifton went up to $150 from $145, and the Ghost, really surprising to me, it also went up to $150 from $140. I don't know if that's anticipatory pricing with the tariffs coming, or if they were planning that all along, but that is a significant price increase, and we're not seeing any of the other brands make such a jump. Matter of fact, Nike, they made the Vomero 18 more cushioned, more comfortable, overall a better long-running shoe, and they dropped the price $10. It was $160, and they dropped it to $150. So Brooks is going in the wrong direction here, but if it's a banger, it's a banger. We'll see. Bada boom. Still trying to get me to buy stuff from Total Pickleball. Look at this. Well, I guess they renamed it to Pickleball Warehouse now. Bada bang. Yeah, this was the best color that they had, best colorway. It's white gray with some green, blue, and orange colorways. Brooks consistently has the worst possible colorways on the Ghost and the Glycerin, and just the worst designs in general. I don't know if they do it on purpose. They know how to make good colorways, especially if you look at the Ghost Max SE, which is their lifestyle shoe. They have some fire colorways on that. So I don't know. Let me show you, actually. We put this on the Supwell Instagram. I really like this one colorway we had. It's this white and blue with a tan gum sole. It was absolutely flames. Yeah, look at this. Where is this? Oh, yeah, this was the new release post, but look at this Ghost Max SE colorway. So clean. White with the blue accents, and then you can see there's actually a gum sole on the bottom here. So Brooks knows how to make some fire. This is not a bad colorway. This is fine. It's just, yeah, very mediocre. Also, I'm not the biggest fan of the salmon pink mixed with the green and blue, but regardless, this is not a fashion shoe, although I do like when my shoes look good. Sue me. I do like it. I like putting on a shoe that makes me feel like the designers put some effort into it, like I'm going to put some effort into this run, right? But yeah, the purpose of this shoe is to be a durable, versatile, everyday shoe For that, you get lots of rubber coverage on the bottom to protect the foam. They've gone up in stack height here in the back. It is now a 10 millimeter drop. It was a 12 millimeter drop before, which is crazy. That's the same thing as the old glycerin. So glycerin was also a 10 millimeter drop. The glycerin does feel maybe a touch heavier, but this is the supercritical EVA foam, the DNA Loft V3. I actually really love this foam, and it's the same foam that they use in the Ghost, the Brooks Ghost Max 2. And again, with this being $150, that's now the same price as the Ghost Max 2, which is just crazy. And by the way, I saw a picture of the Ghost Max 2 on Drew Whitcomb's his feed, the founder of Run Testers. I guess he's already testing it, and it looks terrible. So they messed up one of my favorite silhouettes as well. Brooks is not known for their design, but they have had some good releases. The first Ghost Max OG, and then the Glizzy Max and the Ghost Max SE are all bangers when it comes to the design, but it just seems that with these performance shoes, sometimes they just cannot get it right. And again, this one is fine, but they messed up the Ghost Max, which I am really sad about. The good thing is I still have an OG pair just sitting on ice for whenever I need it. I might wear it to Mason's wedding or something. But yeah, great cushion here. This is one of the best training foams out there. It's right in that, for me, not too soft, not too firm range. Holds up well over time. Solid upper, nothing fancy. Good padding on the tongue, good padding around the back. It's overall a shoe that's designed to work for a lot of people, so there's nothing special about it. They didn't go super lightweight on the upper. They didn't do anything too crazy. There's not a big crazy rocker. It's just good cushion on the back, good cushion on the front, comfortable upper, and good rubber coverage. That is the formula for a winning shoe in this $140 or I guess $150 segment now. But gosh dang, with it going up to $150, that means I have to be even harsher on it and evaluate it against shoes like the Neo Zen, shoes like the Vomero 18. So that's going to be the question. Does this compete with those shoes? Because it's no longer going up against the Ride and the Cumulus because Brooks raised the price. Yes, we have to put this up against the Ghost Max in their own lineup too. Is this a better buy than the Ghost Max, which is just crazy? So the main difference between this and the Ghost Max 2 is going to be the drop. Ghost Max 2 is a much lower drop with a more modern rocker profile. This is still a 10 millimeter drop. It doesn't have a bad rocker, but it's just more of a minor toe spring in the front versus the entire slope curve here. So should be a solid shoe. Let's get some specs and put it through the lab. I'm going to keep this brief. I feel like the runtime on this is probably already longer than it needs to be. Brooks Ghost 17. Probably should be about a 5 or 6 minute video tops. And this is the other thing I was thinking about. So I used to watch a lot of car reviews. I still do. Are you going to want to watch a car reviewer who normally is driving Ferraris and McLarens to the track? Are you going to want to watch him driving a Toyota Camry? Probably not. So I think that's the equivalent here. It's like whenever I see the straight pipes or throttle house videos on a Toyota Camry or even a BMW sedan, ugh, give me the Cadillac Escalade V versus the G63 AMG track test. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this little Honda Accord. What are you doing? So those guys don't even review. The Throttle House is smart. They just review the big, powerful SUVs and the fastest cars. Straight pipes, they do mess around and get the Honda Accord sometimes. I think I need to be on the Throttle House track. Just none of this complete shenanigans with these $150 daily trainers. The thing is, I try to review the shoes for everyone. But the new people, they don't watch the channel. New runners do not watch this channel. That's what I've figured out. So I'm trying to reach a bigger audience. We'll figure it out somehow. Maybe I'll just start clipping parts of this off for shorts. This is the Glycerin 21. This is 300. Why is it in? Okay, there's just weird grams. There we go. Okay, 300.69 grams. This was your mom's favorite daily trainer. This is a shoe that a lot of moms like. Is very reliable. I'll always see moms wearing this. Probably top 3 mom shoes, Cloud Runner, this, and then surprisingly Pegasus is another popular mom shoe. That's a good one for moms who want to tap back into their athletic days and let you know that they can still ball out if they need to. But for moms who just want to be comfortable, you'll see them wearing the Glycerin 21 a lot, and maybe now you'll see him wearing the Ghost 17. So this one is coming in at wow, look at that, 310.5 grams. So not only did they bring it up $10 in USD pricing, they also made it 10 grams heavier than the max cushion shoe of the last generation. That's an interesting strategy for sure. And we'll put this under the stack checker to see in the stack rated 5,000 to see what the stack is. But I'm surprised to see that up at 310. Let's compare it to some other shoes in the category here. We can just go rapid fire. Saucony Ride 18, 280 grams. New Balance 880 V15, 306 grams. And the $150 Vomero 18, this is much heavier, also much more cushion in the back, 325 grams. And then the $10 cheaper Nova Blast 5, it's also, what is that, 40 grams lighter? That's crazy, 270 grams. So Ghost is heavy for what it is in the category, but we'll see. Let's throw in the stackerator. If you did come here, if you actually came here for a shoe review on the Ghost 17, I'm really happy that you made it. If you are actually considering buying the shoe. And the thing is, I think it's going to be a solid shoe. A lot of these shoes are. This is one of my favorite training foams out there. Super underrated. Ghost Max 2 is a very underrated shoe. It's a quiet banger. The thing is, you can also get the Ghost Max 2. This is a little pro tip. If you're considering the shoe and you don't really care about drop, if you have no idea what drop is, you probably don't need to worry about it. You can get the Ghost Max 2, same foam, for $120, $110 at a lot of places. Dick's will always have it for sale. If you go in the store, there's always a colorway of it for sale. Same thing with the Clifton and the Bondi. This is a pro tip in general. Clifton, Bondi, Pegasus, any of these shoes that I've been talking about that are the most purchased shoes, Dick's has older colorways of them throughout the year on sale. That's a pro tip for you. All right, coming in the back, 37.5 millimeters tall in the back. That's not that tall for given the weight here. That's not a good stack to weight ratio. That's actually a pretty miserable stack to weight ratio. Let's see. Glycerin 21. Look at that. Same, just about the same stack height. This is 37. And this was 10 millimeters or 10 grams lighter. For some context here, let's throw our Vomero 18. This is one of my favorite, just comfortable, cushioned, cruising shoes on the market right now. Probably not as versatile as the Ghost. I don't like picking up the pace in the Vomero, but for those days when I'm trashed, it's a good option. Yeah, look at this, 39.3. And I also ran in this yesterday, so maybe it needs some time to rebound, but a few millimeters taller, up near 100 miles, so it's probably even taller out of the box here. Let's take a look at our friend Nova Blast. Nova Blast is a super lightweight shoe, but the main critique here is that the foam hasn't been that durable for a lot of people. Let's see. Bang. Lower to the ground. 35 in the back. And then let's see our friend, the Ride 18. If you just want a completely average shoe that's not going to bother you, not going to be terrible or awesome, that's the Ride 18. That's the whole value proposition in this category. And wow, that is lower, 34.5. So we'll see how this evolves over time, but out of the box, on the higher end for the category, let's get the other shoe. Do some QA here. The other thing I was thinking about is with going every day on the channel, that's one of the reasons why I test these shoes. Because did I just, bro? That was absurd. I took the whole stack checker down. But no, in all seriousness, I like testing everything. you test the daily trainers, you test the Carbon County race shoes. People think I'm out of touch with regular people because I run in so many Carbon County shoes. I run in a lot of the daily trainers as well, and I like running in these simple shoes like the Vomero, like the Nova Blast. Not every shoe needs to be super stacked or super fast. I like a solid, comfortable shoe too, so it's nice to go back and check some of these out. And by the way, another reason I do this is because we put everything on the website. It's not just the YouTube channel. We have the website as well. And so I do these, and then those insights go on the site, and they go in the shoe matcher. So if you're looking for a new shoe, I haven't talked about this in a while, but runningshoematcher.com. You can get matched with the shoe there. And we have the entire database for the nerds and for the non-nerds, so you can sort through everything. But 36.7 on the left side here. Let's get a QA check for the weight. And 310, it's not super heavy. It's not super light either. It's just, it is. And I guess it's pretty much what I would expect for a shoe like this. But left side's coming in at 307 grams. So that's decent QA right there. 307 on the left and 310 on the right. Nice job, Warren Buffett. Hey, hold on. Look at this. I have these Puma sawtooth laces from the Fast R3. Should I bust down, put them on the Ghost 17, ice them out? I wonder if more people will be interested in this shoe if I do some aftermarket mods.
Turn it on.
The other thing I think about with these shoes, they're an investment. It's $150. Each one of these shoes that I buy and test is an investment. And so with that, I have to think about, am I going to get my investment back? Will I break even on the investment of the shoe? Probably. I'll probably break even, or maybe I'll lose a little bit of money on this shoe, but then my coverage of other shoes, some do well, some don't do well. It's having a diversified portfolio, right? But the opportunity cost, what else could I be talking about or doing on the channel? That's a different question altogether. And if we look at it just with the shoes, the opportunity cost is low because there's not a lot of other new shoes coming out. So if I'm a shoe tester, I might as well be testing this and testing everything. But then I think about, man, maybe I could have been talking about how to speed up recovery after a long run. What if I made a video on that instead of a Brooks Ghost 17 review? That's the equivalent of watching a race car driver review a Prius. I could have even been talking about Game 1, Celtics, Knicks, takeaways, 3 things I learned. Maybe my hot takes would be more valued over there. I don't know, man. These are the things I think about. But the thing is, if this is a banger, then it's a banger, and it's all worth it. And some of these shoes are bangers. Here's the thing. A lot of people think that these $140 and $150 daily trainer shoes are beneath them or they're only for beginners, but you'd be surprised, man. I really like the Vomero these days. The Clifton was surprisingly comfortable. Sometimes it's good to just have a comfortable, simple shoe on like this thing. Oh man, it's a Barefoot Mafia situation. We don't need that. Might have to censor that. I realized I didn't even bring out the Ghost 16 for comparison to these, but they did go up in stack height. I'm guessing it went up in weight, but this is a comfortable shoe. It still feels higher drop. It doesn't have that soft step in of the Vomero. It does feel on the firmer side compared to a lot of the other training shoes out there, but good comfort. It reminds me a lot of the glycerin. Toe box is average. Upper isn't super soft. It is on the more rigid side, but it feels very durable. It feels like a well put together shoe. Good rubber coverage, a lot of cushion in the heel. It does feel like a max cushion shoe in the heel. And then the forefoot, I feel a lot closer to the ground. And I can even see here, look at that. I do get some compression in the front as I push in. And of course, the more you weigh, the softer these will feel. They're going to compress more under more weight. And actually, this colorway is not too bad. It's just with things like this, the ribbing of the midsole, like sometimes Brooks just puts these unnecessary flares on the shoe. But it's definitely not a bad looking shoe, especially in this colorway. It's completely fine. But let's get our miles in. It's actually on the earlier side today, which is nice. I'm going to aim for 12 this morning. It's going to be a grind, but we can try to do it. One more thing before we go here, man. I've been running the Vomero a lot, but the drop on these feels super high. It feels higher than the Vomero. Vomero is also a 10 millimeter drop. I don't know what it is with these, but just maybe how much cushion is in the heel. It just feels very high off the ground, but comfortable and decently fresh, man. This is not a bad looking shoe. It looks like a solid running shoe. And if they hit it with some nice colorways, if they put the creamy grays and tans that they do on the Ghost Max, or maybe some of those Ghost Max SEs, they could set it off. And Brooks has been doing a nice job with those retro colorways too on the Adrenaline. This could be fire. And I really like this foam here. Let's get going. DNA Loft V3 is just a classic training foam. Yeah, man, this is a good shoe. They didn't mess it up. They did not mess this up. Oh my goodness, this is so much better than the Glycerin 22. See, this is why I test all these random shoes, because then we can find the hidden gems. And I'm telling you, man, this DNA Loft V3, this is a special training foam. It's just perfect. Impact absorption, bounce, comfort, it's all there. And out of the gates here, this is not a boring ride. It has some fun to it. Early overreaction, low-key banger. I know a lot of people are gonna be sleeping on this one. This is banger city. One thing I'm noticing so far, this runs a lot lighter than its weight. It doesn't feel like a 310 gram shoe. It feels more like a 280. Maybe it's because it's so bouncy. But yeah, I am surprised at how bouncy this is. This is really fun. It's more similar to the Nova Blast so far than it is to the Saucony Ride or the Cumulus. This Loft V3 is just so good. The supercritical UVA. Man, if this were 8 millimeter drop, it would be perfect. I wish they just went full send on it. Make it a real Nova Blast competitor at 8. It does feel high drop. I can feel more of that ground feel coming through in the forefoot. That's the one thing I don't love, the 10 millimeter drop, but this foam is just incredible. This is an incredible daily trainer foam. I've been saying it every time I run in these shoes, whether it's Adrenaline, Ghost Max, Glycerin 21. That's why I was so bummed out about the Glycerin 22, because they took a perfect max cushion daily trainer and just put a gimmicky weird foam in it for no reason. Oh man, I was just zoning out. That's mile 2, 7:32. This is a good shoe for just catching a rhythm and sticking with it. This is a vibey shoe for sure. Man, if they dialed in the stack and the geometry, this could be a top 3, top 2 daily trainer. What's holding it back is 10mm drop and just that traditional forefoot. The weight is perfect, the foam tuning is perfect, upper comfort is good. This is a fantastic shoe. At mile 5 here, haven't been talking a whole lot this morning. I'm just vibing out. It's a beautiful day. Some days it's nice to just run. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be surprised with this one if you do decide to try it. This is top tier daily trainer for sure. This is going to be on next month's power rankings. Hundo P. Just perfect cushion, perfect bounce, perfect protection. Man, the only demerit is the 10mm drop. If this were an 8mm drop, this would be a perfect shoe all around. That's really the only flaw. Brooks going to 150 on this though. You better watch out. That's like McDonald's raising the price of a double cheeseburger to $2, making it the $2 menu. Because this shoe is the market standard. So everything else, I'm gonna give you my Charles Barkley, I guarantee it is going up. This is the start of shoeflation, tariffs or not. Guarantee it. So I should probably explain the issue with the 10mm drop. It's really about the heel to toe transition. That's one thing. So if you're landing farther back, it's jarring. Having the bigger difference between the front and the back, it's not as smooth of a roll through. So the lower the drop is, to a certain point, that 5, 6 to 8 range, also depending on the geometry, makes a much smoother transition. And typically the 8 to 5mm drop shoes have better rockers. These 10mm drop shoes usually rely on the shape of the foam, and they have that triangle shape versus having a curved bottom. The second thing is, if you're landing up near the front, you're just going to be lower to the ground. 10mm drop shoes typically aren't the super max stack ones, which means you're getting below 26, 25 in the front. So not the most cushion. And these 10mm drop platforms are the ones that forefoot strikers repeatedly say are thin in the forefoot. Vomero 17 is a good example, but it really happens to nearly every 10mm drop shoe. For forefoot runners who don't like a lot of ground feel, they don't work. And then the historically upside of 10mm drop is that it takes the stress off the lower legs. Some people like a 10mm drop, and some people like huffing nitrous oxide. We don't need to cater to everybody. The reality is, most people prefer 8 to 5. Bigger runners, newer runners, whatever. Most people prefer below 10. Anytime I review one of these Brooks shoes, even people who liked the Glycerin 22, which I hated, the vast majority of them said it would have been better with an 8mm drop. I'm telling you, man, anytime I run in a bad, boring, basic shoe, it makes me reevaluate the entire business model here. Why am I buying these shoes that nobody cares about, that are just so mid? But I'm happy to report today is not one of those days. I can actually see myself getting more miles in this, which makes it worth it. This is a great shoe. Great. I have a lot of good stuff to say, but I'm gonna save it for the post-run thoughts on the street, because I've learned if I say it right now, it's a rant. But if I say it down on the street, it's a thoughtful analysis. So I want it to be more of a thoughtful analysis. This is so good. It's just a nice shoe. Nothing wrong with it, and a lot of things good with it. 12 miles, 7:38 pace, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 41 seconds. And a lot of the times for my aerobic development miles, this is what I need. Something exactly like this. Good cushion and comfort, some bounce to get my legs going. I like some sort of speed assistance and protection for these aerobic development runs. My everyday runs, this was 90 minutes, which would be a long run for a lot of people. And oh gosh, we got some of that raspberry stuff on the upper here, but man, so good. Enough cushion and comfort. It doesn't feel heavy at all. Around 310 is the tipping point. Anything above 310 is where we start getting in that max cushion territory. Nimbus is about 315. What else is at that range? Puma Mag Max is 318. So these are heavier than you would expect for what they are. It's nearly as heavy as the Mag Max and the Nimbus, but for some reason it doesn't feel like a heavy shoe at all. It feels as light as the Ride or maybe even the Nova Blast. It really does feel like a lightweight shoe. So maybe it's because that padding is just coming from the support elements in the upper. We do have that plastic heel clip here. Or sorry, the weight is coming from the padding and the support elements in the upper, because the midsole doesn't feel heavy at all. Really nice ride, pleasant, smooth, cushioned. It's a banger. It's an incredible shoe. 93 mile per hour fastball right down the center of the plate. Brooks did a good one. I was going to say they hit it out of the park with this one, but that would be mixing baseball metaphors. Let's mix again. Bloop and a blast, baby. Double play, slam dunk, home run, strike, bowling strike. I ran out of sports metaphors. Hat trick. It's not a hat trick because it's one. Yeah, this is a really good shoe. Headline here, Brooks knocked it out of the park. They hit a home run. They got a big old touchdown. They got a 2-point conversion. Go 17. This is a really good shoe. And the thing is, I look for shoes like this. This is the entire... Whoa. Man, my drop rate has been high recently. Like Aguilar. That's a deep cut for you guys. Remember that? Out here catching babies on like Aguilar. I look for these shoes. The shoes that are great for stacking miles. The shoes that I can put on, I don't have to worry about. And I wasn't even talking a whole lot out here this morning, and it's nice because the last... This show must go on. Last few days, I don't know if I was sick yesterday and Sunday. Maybe I am because I've been sneezing. I don't feel sick. I think we just got some weird thing the past few days. But yesterday, I was completely beaten down from a hard long run on Sunday, and I've just been stacking a lot of not just mileage but intensity. So it was nice to come out here this morning and just run. Not a recovery run and not a workout, just a run. It wasn't a slow jog and it wasn't any sort of intense run. And that's what this thing is designed to do. And I love these shoes that are just designed for you to put them on, not think about anything, and go. That's what a perfect daily trainer does. You don't have to think about if you're going too fast or slow. You don't have to worry about if you're using the shoe correctly. You don't have to think about if there's enough cushion underfoot. It doesn't feel too heavy. It doesn't feel light. That's what this thing is, and they completely nailed it for that. A lot of the shoes in this category that I've tried this year, they're just not quite dialed. The Cumulus was almost there, but even that felt a touch too firm. And with that shoe, Asics made the odd decision in the last few generations to take off the rubber. This has the rubber, a very thick layer of it. 880 V15, that's another good one. They took the drop down on that, but the foam in this is just more exciting and more impressive without being distractingly anything. It's perfectly, I don't even want to say boring because it's not a boring shoe. It's just a perfect daily trainer. This is everything that I look for in a daily trainer. Decently comfortable, nice and cushioned, and gives me the ability to just run miles. I thought that was Charles. That's not Charles. Yeah, it's almost like Brooks listened to, I know they didn't because this was only 3 months ago and I'm sure they've had this thing ready, but it's almost like they listened to exactly what I said about the Glycerin 22 and how much I hated that thing and made the opposite shoe in this here. The Glycerin 22 was stiff, harsh, clunky, gimmicky. There was dual foam in that for no reason. The forefoot felt like cement mixed with cinder blocks, mixed with tar. It was just horrible. This thing is perfectly dialed in. Great cushion, not too soft, not too firm. It's definitely firmer than something like the Nova Blast, but not as firm as the Hoka Skyflow. Definitely not as firm as the Super Blast. And because you don't have a lot of cushion, as much, it is a lot of cushion for compared to shoes 5 years ago, but compared to Super Max Stack shoes, it's not a more V5. It's not a Mag Max or a Glycerin Max. Because it is more in the moderate range for 2025, it's not going to read as too soft, likely, for a lot of people. The really only downside here, and I talked about it out there on the run, is the 10 millimeter drop. It's just an antiquated platform putting the 10 millimeters here. It means that you're lower to the ground in the forefoot. You're going to get some more ground feel, and especially if you're a forefoot runner, it might feel a touch thin over here. But what makes this shoe so beautiful is this DNA Loft V3 foam. I've been saying for a while this is the best training foam on the market, and yes, we now have training shoes with race foams, but what I want in a training foam is impact absorption, comfort for long miles, and some sort of assistance. This nails it. Because it's that EVA compound, it does retain some of that denser feel where it's giving me that protection, taking away the pounding, and it doesn't feel like it's bottoming out. And yet it's a super critical foam, meaning it's gone through that process of the gas being injected in it, making it lighter, fluffier, bouncier, slightly softer than a non-supercritical EVA would be. And boy, let me tell you, standard EVA, those are some of the firmest shoes out there that you could find. Standard EVA, there's not a whole lot of them left on the market. Matter of fact, I don't know if I've run in 100% standard EVA shoe in years. Adizero SL1, that was almost 100% standard EVA, but there was the race foam in the midsole. We have the Asics S4 Plus that has the bottom layer of the standard EVA. The Boston 13 has the bottom layer of the standard EVA. Point being, this is not a standard EVA. This is a really good foam, and I know Brooks is moving on to the DNA tuned in the Glycerin, but this does a much better job at what a training foam should do. And the shoe still feels lightweight. I don't know how they've done it. It feels a lot lighter than it came in on paper. So the other thing I was thinking about with this shoe is, man, I run in a lot of shoes. I run the carbon shoes. I run the speed training shoes. And I think people have this perception that I only like running in expensive shoes. And the expensive shoes typically are better. Brands aren't just randomly putting 250 price tags on things, other than Diodora, which did that with the Atomo Star. But I guess I actually found out that apparently it's like a GoFundMe. I didn't understand this at first, but somebody explained it to me. The shoe's price is like a GoFundMe for Italian workers, apparently. So you pay the extra money to support Italian workers. It's like a donation baked in with the price. So that's kind of a cool business model that they have going on there. A lot of the other brands, they're just pricing the shoes and they do their economics to make money, but that is more of almost a 501c3 situation, which is kind of cool if you want to support Italian workers. But I run the expensive shoes. I run in the inexpensive shoes. And a lot of the time, the expensive shoes are better because those are the ones that the brands are putting more design resources toward. They're investing in developing them more, the top tier products. But these standard training shoes aren't necessarily worse for these types of runs. As a matter of fact, these shoes are often better. I'm not going to pull out a carbon shoe for this type of a run this morning unless it is something super comfortable like the Tracksmith Elliott Racer. So in my training, I still do have a place for a shoe like this and the Vomero or the Clifton or the Bondi, these more basic shoes. And I wouldn't even call them no frills. There are some frills. There's some comfort. You get great padding on the upper. And look, that's what you're going to get here that you don't get in a race shoe, right? Padding on the upper, a wider base. They're not concerned about just shaving off all the weight. So they add some more bulk and heft in the back. They add more cushion both in the midsole, but also in the upper. It's likely going to have a wider toe box than a lot of the race shoes. So it has all the comfort there, and it's a really pleasant surprise this morning. And because I buy all these shoes, which of course I don't like spending the money on buying these shoes to test, but I think in a way it makes me a better reviewer because I have skin in the game and I'm less tolerant of mid and trash because I spent my money on it, versus I think it's easier to just let issues go by if you're getting something for free, even if you're not getting it for free from the brands, right? So I do think in a way spending the money on the shoes is good and helps me improve my analysis. But point being here, I spent my money on this, I put the miles in it, and this is the type of shoe that I will continue to reach for my training because it just gets the job done. Not every day do I want the fastest shoe, but I do want something that adds a pleasant experience to my runs, or that is conducive to having a pleasant experience on my runs. I don't want something that's boring and brick-like, or conversely, I don't want something too soft and squishy that's going to bottom out. This is just dead center, man. It's like pepperoni pizza from your hometown pizzeria. Shout out to Espresso Pizza in Lowell, Massachusetts. Things like that are the only real things I miss about not being vegan, man. I can't have espresso pizza anymore. If you've ever had espresso pizza, you know what I'm talking about. Thick, puffy crust, sweet sauce, perfect cheese, and the pepperoni, something about the savory, salty pepperoni pizza on that is chef's kiss. So let's go through those 3 questions we always answer on these first run reviews. First, how does this compare to its intended purpose? I'm hungry. That espresso pizza talk got me hungry, and I can tell I'm hungry because I can barely talk. I got a few minutes. I'm going to have some brunch after this. Intended purpose, versatility. This is designed to do everything. I didn't even throw up the run. Let's throw up the run. We went 90 minutes this morning. That's a lot longer than most people are going to be going on their daily runs. More than enough cushion for that. It did not bottom out. As a matter of fact, as I got deeper into that run, the 10 millimeter drop was less annoying. So this is a shoe that's going to be able to do long runs. Of course, it can do short runs. It felt great in the first few steps, and the more cushion shoes don't always feel great right away. Sometimes they take some time to break in and for you to get the benefit of all that cushion. This is more than enough cushion for what 99% of people are going to need. I'll say this is more than enough cushion for what 100% of people need. I'd be happy taking this out for a 20-mile long run or a 2-hour long run. At least what's that thing from High School Musical? I need to start doing that to get my gesticulation. That's not even, what's the right word? My brain is just not firing this morning. This is more than enough cushion though for the long runs. It'll get you right for whatever type of run you need. I also didn't push the pace too hard. I think my fastest mile was probably a 7:26. Slowest mile was a 7:50. My legs are still tired from the hard past few weeks of training, and I'll see if I can get another workout in tomorrow if I'm feeling recovered. But point being, the cushion is perfect. It nails it for its intended purpose. It's designed to be that versatile shoe. Also feels great for walking, and a lot of people who are looking at a shoe like this want something that they can do anything athletic in. Walking, running, going to their kids' game, going to the park, taking the dog out. This is perfect for that. There's no weirdness, and that's another quality I look for in these shoes. I don't want any weirdness, and there is no weirdness at all in this. Second question. how does it compare to the category? Okay, what's in the category? Clifton, Pegasus. Let's throw the Vomero in there as well. Let's throw the Cumulus in there. Let's even throw the Nova Blast. Let's throw the Saucony Ride in there. Any of these $140 and $150 daily trainers. Let's even throw the Brooks Ghost Max 2 in there. So compared to the more cushion ones that you can get for $150, like the Ghost Max 2 and the Vomero, this feels lighter. It's about 20 grams lighter than those shoes, so it definitely feels like more of a versatile shoe, especially with the Vomero. I never really want to push the pace. I'm not often hanging on to 730 miles in the Vomero like I was this morning. And this, with that thing, I'm more so crawling, creeping along at 8 flat, 815, 830. Similar to the Clifton as well. With that one, it is lighter and I can slightly push the pace, but this feels like a better performance running shoe. This foam is far superior for running than the compression molded EVA. Now, if we compare it to the Skyflow, which has the supercritical EVA, this is softer. This is more comfortable for me. It has less of a rocker, and it also feels more versatile. Skyflow is almost the Super Blast type of shoe where you want to be pushing the pace, or at least putting down some mustard into it to get the benefit. Now, compared to the standard shoes, man, this might be the best one now out of the category versus Ride 18, 880 V15, and Cumulus. That's the quartet right there. The basic sicko shoe quartet would be this Cumulus, Ride, and I guess you could throw the Pegasus in there as well, so maybe it's 5. It's a pentet. This is the best one. This is better cushion than the Pegasus, better performance. Pegasus always gets thin for me around an hour. With this at 90 minutes, I felt like I could keep going. Also better bounce than the Ride 18. That one let me down. And versus the Cumulus, this is just going to be more fun for a lot of people. The Cumulus is just a very standard shoe. There's just nothing exciting about that one at all. So this is a better buy. It is $10 more expensive, which brings me to question number 3. How does this compare to everything else on the market? And with it going up to $150, that is putting it up closer to where those max cushion everyday shoes start at $160. But they're actually now, most of them are going up to $165. We have the Glycerin 22 at $165. We have the Bandai, which went up to $170, and we have the Nimbus at $165. So this does feel almost in between those two categories of shoes. It's not quite a max cushion shoe in the same way that those are. Those are all the ones I just mentioned, above 40 in the heel out of the box. This is still below 40, but it doesn't feel as basic as the Cumulus, the Pegasus, the Ride, and what was the last shoe I mentioned? Whatever that last shoe I mentioned in there that's supposed to be in that category. It doesn't feel as basic as those. There is some excitement and fun to this shoe. I think if you did a blind run test, this is what they do with wine. So for my day job, I work for a marketing agency. We were talking to this wine brand. They do canned wine, and they were saying their whole value proposition is that they're giving you really good wine, but in a can. It's similar to a Prisoner's, right, which is a $30 bottle of wine, but they have it in a can. They say a lot of people, there are these snobs out there, they just won't drink wine because it's coming out of a can. Their whole thing is, hey, we're going to put canned wines in your favorite restaurants, in your favorite pizza shop, your upscale burger spot, your taco spot, because you can't get wine there. You can only get beer a lot of the times. And people try it out of the can and they say, what the heck? This is so much better than I thought. And then when they blind taste test their wine against Prisoners for the snobs, consistently their wine is winning or at least tying those wines. So it's one of these things, man. I think people think I'm some sort of a snob. I'm not, because I'm the one who tests everything. I'm not too good for any shoe. I've tested every shoe that's hit the market, dang near every shoe in the past year. And I think if you did test some of the snobs out there, yeah, I'm talking to you snobs who think you're too good for the Ghost 17. If you did a blind test versus this and the Pegasus, or this and the Skyflow, or this and maybe even the Nova Blast, I would bet a lot of people would be surprised at how much they like this. Or if we did a blind test and didn't tell somebody what this was or said it was the Nova Blast 6, I think we could fool a lot of people. That's how good this is. That's how much bounce this has. It's the perfect daily trainer. The 10 millimeter drop is really, I have to say, I guess it's the near perfect daily trainer, because the 10 millimeter drop is the one area that's slight demerit there. That's the 2%. This is a 98% perfect. If it had an 8 millimeter drop, it would be completely dialed in. Though I have to say, as I got deeper into the run, it was fine. So it nails it for its intended purpose. It's the best one compared to the category. And if we compare it to everything else in the market, it's definitely not as cushioned, it's not as fast, but if you are looking for a do-it-all shoe or a reliable shoe to just stack miles on, this is so solid. So this is another shoe where first run, I'm gonna thumbs up. I'm also gonna stamp Supwell certified, first run out of the box, 12 miles. And I'm gonna stand on business because you can guarantee, I don't care how many views this video gets, I guarantee I'm gonna be running in this and you're gonna see it more on the channel, similar to the Vomero, because it's just that good and it's such a solid shoe for stacking mileage. For any day where the goal is accumulating time on feet, building that aerobic base, this is now one of the best options, up there with the Vomero and the Salomon Aero Goat 3. So you heard it here first. Actually, I don't know if you heard it here first. I don't know what anyone else says about this, but this thing is a banger, low-key banger. A lot of people are gonna sleep on it. The Brooks Ghost, the biggest banger that you can't see. That was terrible. That was terrible. But I'm glad I landed the plane in a good place because I was struggling through that one. I got some brain fog this morning. I'm also really hungry. All right, that's all I have for you today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. One more thing. There was one more thing I was going to say. With the whole thing about the running, and I test a lot of race shoes. I test a lot of the expensive shoes and the basic shoes. I don't care if a shoe has a crazy rocker. I don't care what the weight of a shoe is. I don't care if it has a carbon plate. That's like the shoe's resume, right? That's everything on paper. It's the same thing when I'm hiring people. I don't care what school you went to. I don't care where you worked in the past. I care if you can do the work. And when it comes to these shoes, it doesn't matter what technology is in the midsole. It doesn't matter if it's EVA or PIBA. It matters how it feels and how it rides. So that's why I like to keep an open mind with testing everything. And I know I was making jokes about why do I test these shoes, but that's the exact reason. Because sometimes we can be surprised by these shoes despite what they say on paper. So if you like to keep an open mind, this is a really solid one. If you're gonna be a snob about things, then pass. This is not a shoe for snobs. This is a shoe for people who like quality and putting in the work. There's not too many of them out there anymore. Last of a dying breed. A lot of people just want bouncy race day foam, not putting in the work. All right, I'm gonna stop. Shout out Amazon putting in work. That is not a Mother's Day gift. I don't know what it is. Bro, it's nap time.
Daddy, alarm clock gonna come down.
Alarm clock?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is?
In my room.
Okay, yeah, mommy will deal with that. Bro, it's time to rest. Bro, Reevesy is the GOAT at being terrible at sleeping. He doesn't nap. He was up at, I think, something like 5:30 a.m. this morning. And Charlie had to tell him to go back to sleep. I hope it converts into a useful skill later in life. Like maybe he's just going to be an early riser, waking up at 4:30 a.m. every day, just grinding. Because that's basically what he does right now. He wakes up at 5 and he's just building stuff in his room. He skips nap to just build. Lincoln build, bro. But yeah, we're doubling back on the Ghost here for the afternoon run. This is a heavy endorsement of this thing. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a new mileage eater shoe for me because it's just solid. I love shoes like this. Definitely not as comfortable as the Vomero with the step in, but more solid and stable feeling. All right, let's do this thing, man. Man, that was tough. My legs feel like pancake batter. Whole wheat, gluten-free. 4 miles, 8:35 pace, 36 minutes. Man, sometimes these doubles just are not easy. But 16-mile double day in the Ghost 17. And this is where we start seeing the limitations of this type of shoe. And if we think about the analysis, right, I always ask that question number 3, how does this compare to everything else on the market? Every single shoe in this basic daily trainer category is going to have this moment after we put 16 miles on it. These shoes, no matter if it's the Clifton, something's going ham over there, the Pegasus, they all have that point, and it's just not a max cushion shoe. So it's not the most stacked in the front here. So I would have preferred to have something like the Vomero on my feet. I still like it, but it's just, I don't know, some days I want extra cushion and comfort. So that is the one limitation of this shoe. And ignoring the 10 millimeter drop, it's really just that you're getting a basic daily trainer, a really good basic daily trainer, but don't expect this to be the best option for long runs and high mileage testing. That is certainly not what this is designed to do. This is designed to be a reliable training partner for everyday mileage, and that's what it was great for this morning. For the 90-minute morning run, perfect. For the 30-minute afternoon recovery run, not my favorite. I would prefer to have something more cushioned. Even heavier is fine. It's not the weight here. I just wanted some more comfort underfoot. And it's definitely not an uncomfortable shoe. It's just for this type of run where I'm feeling beat up, going slow. I've been loving the Vomero. I've been loving that type of a shoe. So still a banger. It's just if you're doing 16-mile, 20-mile double days, you're probably going to want a rotation anyway. But I highly recommend this shoe. This is a really good one. I'll be back tomorrow with another video.